I have a sinus infection. I have antibiotics, but I didn't take them all. And ever since then, I got better, and then it came back. What did she ask? I missed it. Sorry. So he did pay me child support, but here's the thing. I allowed him to pay less than half of what he was supposed to be paying. So he pays $141 every other week. And that is because they came to my attorney and said, we can't afford to feed our kids and pay child support to Miley. And so did we let Miley and Bo date? Absolutely not. So here's the thing. No, they are not official brother and stepsister yet. However, they are going to be very soon. And that's going to make for some very, very awkward future family relationships. Because of that, I specifically told them that if they were ever to date, it would have to be after they are 18 and out of my home. Because under no circumstances can I have two 16-year-olds shacked up under my roof. They live together. It's not appropriate. So at this time in their life, it would not be appropriate for two 16-year-olds to date when they're living in the same home. And I don't believe that now is the best time for them to decide if they need to be together. They're teenagers. When I was with her dad when I was 16, I felt like we were going to be together forever. The exact same way, we weren't. So I said no on that. Do you know the last thing my daughter has ever said to me, and I kid you not, because I have it on camera, we're all using all of it for court. Miley said to me, as she was leaving with CPS in the voluntary safety plan that I agreed she can go to her father's, she said, if you break up with Chad and let me date Bo, I'll stay. My child is in love. She is. I do not doubt that for a second. My child is absolutely in love. Who was she texting about stopping at the liquor store? Yeah, she was. She asked me if she could try a drink that she saw on TikTok. And in the state of Mississippi, it is not illegal to allow your child, your own child, to try a drink. You can't let them drink to excess. You can't sell them alcohol, but you can let them drink. And then everybody else saying, oh my gosh, you got them condoms. When my daughter came to me last year and told me that she was sexually active with her boyfriend, fun fact, my child is allergic to latex. She can't get condoms from Walmart. They don't have non-latex condoms in Walmart around here because I checked. So I had to special order her condoms. Yes, it is. You can drink at 18 in public. It is true in Mississippi. I went to Oxford. If you are 18 and with your parents, you can drink at the bar in Mississippi. No, you don't need to know that. But you know what? When I have her stepmother literally selling screenshots of our text messages saying, oh my gosh, Lindsey's buying condoms for her child. My job as her mother is to make sure that one, she doesn't have sex as long as humanly possible. Two, that she does have safe sex when she chooses to do so because she is a teenager. And I cannot prevent everything. What I can prevent is her getting an STD or pregnant. So I did buy her condoms. Yeah. But I certainly did not buy her condoms so that she could sleep with her brother. I have spoke to my child infinitely about purity. She had each year, Miley got a new purity ring to wear on her ring finger. And each year, it was funny because she always made the joke I was bribing her to stay a virgin. For each year she's a virgin, whatever the price was of her previous ring doubled. So her first one was $300. Her next one was $600. Her third one she had was $1,200. He's not her brother. He's going to be her brother in a few weeks. This boy is going to be her brother in a few weeks. And I believe and I hear some people saying there's nothing wrong with that. I personally don't agree. I don't think it's appropriate. I certainly don't think that it could ever be appropriate while they live in the same house. I don't know what he's thinking about because he moved out this day before she did. They will be siblings. Chad isn't his real dad. Chad adopted him. His last name is Booker. He will be my stepson. She will be my daughter. I don't think it's appropriate. I will never think it's appropriate. But again, as I told them, that happens when you're 18 and you've moved out of my house, I can't really say anything. But if it's happening when you're living in my house, I will put a stop to it. Still confused. Brad is my brother-in-law. I don't think you can say I'm choosing a man over my child. I'm choosing to not allow my child ruin her life by vaping, by being suspended, by doing drugs, by doing all the things that typical teenagers do that you're supposed to punish them for. So many people say, oh, you're choosing Chad. No, I'm choosing to discipline her and she doesn't like it. I'm choosing to not allow her to run wild. I'm choosing to put my foot down and say, vaping is not okay because your health is important. People are like, you should want your child to be happy. You may want your child to be happy. I want my child to be safe and healthy. And we'll do about the happiness after those two. Because she is her happiest when she is drinking and out at 3 o'clock in the morning with her boyfriend brother. And you know what? Even Miley admitted, I did call them and tell them, oh yeah, if you meet me in my attorney's office, I'll sign over full custody rights. We had no intention of ever fighting over my parental rights to my child. We planned on her meeting us down there and me taking my possession of my daughter. So they had her hid out at their house. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, people are saying, oh, you're choosing Chad over Miley. No, I'm choosing to not allow my child to run over me. I'm choosing to give my teenager discipline. I'm choosing to try to keep her on the right path so she doesn't end up doing the same things I did. And it's so frustrating to have my 16-year-old child. And you know what? The really frustrating part is I really truly believe that these two adults that she's living with have convinced her that I really did pay CPS off. Because remember, the original story here is, oh, Lindsey's child was removed by CPS. CPS removed Lindsey's child from her custody. Now, because that's not going to work. That's not going to work in court. That's not going to work on paper. It's not going to work publicly because it's really easy to prove that didn't happen. So now they resulted to Lindsey paid off CPS. That's the new one. Ugh. Paid off CPS. Because guess what's happened? We're going to court and there's CPS documents and we're subpoenaing the CPS workers, and the CPS workers will come in and say, this is what happened. These are our findings. This is what we found. No, we didn't accept any payment for that. I can't even afford to pay somebody off. Do you know how expensive bribery is? Honestly. She is a child, and when you do things, that's what being a child is. I'm trying to teach her accountability. I'm trying to keep her from going down the wrong path. I'm trying to keep her from doing what I did. My mom is heartbroken by it, and she's really frustrated and really confused and really quite angry, actually. She'll go from being really angry to call me and crying. What about the military stuff? So when Miley and Boston both had lost their phone Miley had lost her phone all summer, and they had just gotten it back, and then they got caught. I don't know if they drank. Miley was texting friends trying to get alcohol from some friends. And so I took their phones again, and they asked, how can we earn our phones back? And so me and Chad talked about it, and Chad's recommendation, and I co-signed with him on this, is that because he plays football, she plays volleyball, was that what we would do is they could work out for 1 hour a day during the week. And that would earn their phone back for that day. So at any point in time, they decided they didn't want to work out, they could have just turned their phone back in. And so that's the 150 hours of military workout was from summer to December. And on the days that it was raining or too hot, they had to journal. And we have all of their journals where they had to sit here and write. We have all of that to take to court in our safe. Down, kitty. I gotta brush you. You're shedding. Why buy her drink? Okay, I'm allowed to let my daughter have a drink. I'm allowed to let her try my drink. She cannot leave my home, be out with friends, and drink. That is illegal. That is dangerous. That is different than letting her try a drink here in my home. That is significantly different. Boston moved back in with his mother Bo moved in with his mother. Miley spends most of her time at his mother's house. And they have all types of posts of them. I mean, they're living their best life. They are quite literally I can't get the text because, Chad, will you please get me the iPhone phone charger off the farm table so that I can charge up Bo's phone and show the texts. No, I don't have visitation. They were told, and that's part of the reason that they lost their access to the safety plan, because they were supposed to have contact with me every single day, and the minute they got her over there, wouldn't let me talk to her. Or any of my family talk to her. Sorry, y'all. He really wanted to come up. Why am I going through their phones? Because they're teenagers. They are teenagers. You have to go through teenagers' phones. Why did I coach her how to be around Chad? Because I wanted my child to give off her... when you first meet somebody, I wanted her to give a great impression. Yes, sir. No, sir. Be sweet. Be nice. I don't want my child to come in like a wrecking ball, which she did, by the way. She came in and gave a list of requirements that she had for Chad that included redecorating her room, getting a new bed, and redecorating her bathroom. I allowed them to work out during the week for an hour a day in return for their phones. At any point in time, they could have said, I do not want to work out. This is absolutely not an iPhone charger. This is a C-type charger. I'm sorry. You're not very good at this. It's okay.
I don't have one.
I don't know either. I haven't charged.
What's that right there?
It's a C-type charger. It's not an iPhone charger. It's one of those old-fashioned iPhone ones.
I don't have one.
Yeah, Molly do want me to stay single. And you know what? I get that. I do get that. But my daughter's going to be leaving in less than 2 years. She's going to go and she's going to start cosmetology school or college, or she's going to move on. And I will always be here for her. Even right now, as angry as she has made me, she is now referring to me as Lindsey instead of Mom. All of these things, she can bring her butt back. She can always come home because that is my child. What's not a good child? She is dating Chad's son. Yes. And the thing is, she's being encouraged these things. She calls me by my first name now. I can't talk to her. I'm not allowed to. I have no way to get in contact with her. She's blocked me on all social media. They got her a new phone. They have kept her phone. I had to contact... So they had originally told us that they were sending her phone back through the mail. They told my brother that. And then they didn't do it. So then we contacted the police, and they worked as like a intermediate and asked them, and they claimed that they sent Miley's phone, which is my phone because I'm still paying for it, sent this $1,500 iPhone to my rental property 2 weeks ago. And that if my renter stole it, that's not their fault. Yeah, they don't know. My renter is a police officer. My renter did not steal Miley's phone. You did not send it. Did you find it?
Yes.
Yeah, good job. You're the best. Thank you, honey.
Animals are outside.
Yeah, because Romeo keeps jumping up here. He wants to see what I'm doing. Hang on, I gotta plug up. Sorry, it's like not sitting right on my stand now because I have it plugged in. What's Chad doing to discipline his son? They had the same exact punishment. They had the where they could work out to earn their phone back, and they were grounded. They didn't get to go anywhere. But Miley told CPS that she was suffocating, that we wouldn't let her go out or do anything. She had been with her friends to eat 3 days that last week. And CPS is like, and I had the text messages. I was like, how are you suffocated? Like, you're going out, you're doing stuff. Like, you're with your friends. Like, how are you suffocating? No, they go and work out with Chad, both of them together. It is my job to give a good impression, but I do want my child to give a good impression the first time she meets somebody important to me. I do. Just like if we were going somewhere, meeting someone important, I would tell her, hey, make sure you do this, this, and this. Yeah, I've been dating Chad for a while. She owes him nothing. She owes him respect. She is a teenager and he is an adult. She is living in his household. She is expected to follow his rules. So yes, she does owe him. She owes him respect. She owes him for paying for her volleyball stuff. She owes him for putting a new set of tires on her car. She owes him for paying her car payment for her. So yes, she absolutely does owe him. How did I find out they were dating? I rolled the cameras back and found Boston going from his room to Miley's room, picking him up, putting her on his shoulder and taking her back to his room, and her not going back to her bed until 4 a.m. She didn't ask for that. That's your problem. So you feel that children should not respect adults. That's where you're coming from. That's your thought process. That children do not owe adults anything. Right. So children should respect their adults. They should follow the rules and responsibilities of the household that they live in. No, I missed out on 6 years of her life while I was in prison, but I talked to my child every day. I sent my child money. I paid child support the entire time I was in prison. I was more active in 1 week of me being in prison than her father was the entire 6 years I was gone. Ask about the bruises. My kid plays volleyball, and that's the thing. Miley's showing a picture of her knees and saying that she was abused because of pictures on her knees in the middle of volleyball season, where she always stays bruised up on her elbows and her knees. And you know what CPS did? They called and they talked to her volleyball coach to verify that she played volleyball. Like, I'm sorry that when you play volleyball, you have bruises on your knees. That is not me. And she's saying she got those from working out. I don't know how you feel like you got bruises on your knees from having to jog and do jumping jacks and sit-ups. But again, if she ever felt the workouts were too hard for her, she could have just given her phone back instead. I'm on Effexor. I am on one medication. We have sent a copy of my medical records and my pharmacy records for the last, from 2022 to this year. We've sent copies of that to be shut up in court because they're claiming that I'm on psychiatric medication. I'm on Effexor. It is an anxiety medicine. Like, it's not even a mood stabilizer. And I've talked many times about being on Effexor. It's literally the only pill I take. I've moved in with multiple men. No. So in the last 5 years, Blaine lived with me for a year when we were engaged. Oh yeah, they showed CPS all of the messages. Here's the thing, if you would have scrolled up, besides just that one screenshot, and you'd have seen how out of context. For instance, I also love this one. They put it out like I was gambling and my child was hungry and I wasn't feeding her. If y'all don't recall, this was last year on the 4th of July. Not this past 4th of July, the one before that. When we were in Louisiana at the beach, and we stayed, and they had a casino hotel that had a lazy river and a swimming pool and like hot tubs and all this stuff, and Miley was dying to go to it. And so we went there. It was $800 a night. It was $500 for the wristbands to go up to the little swimming pool thing. And I got one for her and for her best friend. They had a tab. They spent over $1,000 in 3 days on drinks and food. Over $1,000. My child and her friends spent. They had a fantastic time. Did I go in and gamble? Yes, I did. It's the only time I've been to a casino since I've been home. And I put money on the little things up top, and I won some money. It was exciting. That was back in 2020. That was not in the last 5 years, honey. I said in the last 5 years. So yeah, see, when you take things out of context and you say things like, oh, Lindsay's gambling while her kid's hungry. Her kid was staying in an $800 a night hotel. Her kid has a credit card with my kid's allowance was $600 a month, but she was hungry. Money doesn't make it right. No, but we're talking about the fact that they're claiming I wasn't feeding her. It's kind of hard to say you weren't feeding her by also saying, but she spent $1,000 that weekend on food and drinks. Because they didn't realize that when they went and got their little virgin drinks up there at the bars, that little swim to bars, and they kept getting all those virgin frozen drinks, they were like $12 a piece. Miley's like, since they didn't have alcohol in them, I didn't think they cost that much. They cost the same amount. And so what, I was a little annoyed. No, Miley had a $600 a month allowance. Yes, she is expected to help here on the farm. Miley and me do inside things, and Chad and Boston did outside things. Miley did have to spray the fence line. That is an outside thing. But Miley had to help me do the windows every month, wash all the clothes, do the floors, wash the dishes. The kitchen was Miley's responsibility. And I'm trying to teach my child responsibility and accountability by giving her chores. Miley detailed cars over the summer for work. She was paid $100 per car to work at the store. It would be illegal for her to work at the store and not get paid. So she had a bank account. She was written checks from Cowboy Trucks and Auto Sales for $100 for each car that she detailed.
They also got paid to work on this farm.
They did get paid for the work on the farm, but not as much as they got paid at the store. How much did they get paid? Like $10 an hour, I think?
Yes.
$10 an hour. When they worked on the farm, they were paid $10 an hour. And several of Boston's friends come to work on the farm during the summer as well for part-time jobs. So it wasn't like Miley and Bo are out here. It's like Miley, Bo, and like 4 of Boston's friends are out here. And they're earning their allowance. Because remember, I gave Miley a big allowance. She used that big allowance to go and purchase vapes. So she lost that allowance and had to start earning her allowance instead. So I think Miley uses my past to help convince CPS to get what she wants. She tried to, but it did not work because CPS will always believe the child to start all with. But they did a very deep dive investigation. And when CPS completed their investigation, they found no wrongdoings on my part, which is why we are subpoenaing CPS to court. And which is why they changed the narrative. Because remember, their original narrative is that CPS removed Miley from Lindsay's home. CPS removed her daughter. And now they're saying, well, no, okay, so they didn't remember, so Lindsay paid them off. Pick a story. Let's pick a side. Because let me tell you, I don't have bribe people money. I don't. What about the call saying I was signing my rights over? I was trying to get them to meet me so that we could get Miley back. What is there to explain about Chad? I know there's no way you can pay off CPS. Especially because we had 3 different cases called in on us in less than 2 months. We are subpoenaing 3 different CPS employees to our court case. 3 completely separate cases. Bribing CPS is delusional. I know. And you know what? I don't know if my child really actually thinks that in her head, or if the adults around her are telling her this and that's what she genuinely believes. I don't understand it. Where's my mom? My mom has, she's not living here anymore. After Miley moved out and called and demanded the $1,500 cash and she didn't give it to him, and Miley yelled at her and it was a big thing. My mom really got frustrated after she wasn't contacted at all. They wouldn't respond to any of that. Then they actually, she actually just like left for a while. She's doing an extended stay with some of her family members. She will come back for Miley's custody case. What did Chad's ex say? Chad's ex told us that we needed to leave the kids alone because they are finally happy. And I'm like, yes, they are happy because there are pictures of you. There's pictures of my daughter and Chad's son laid in a bed at your house without clothes on, with him without a shirt and Miley wearing sleep clothes. Yes, I did have a recorded call saying that I would sign her rights away because I was trying to get them to meet us so that we could take Miley back. I would have promised them the Hope Diamond if I thought it would have worked. My mom is out of state. Yes, I want Miley's back home. Absolutely. Immediately. I'm worried about her. Tragically worried about her. Because they're saying, we had to quit volleyball because the school couldn't protect her after hours. I'd already spoken to the school and we had been very clear that we would not interfere with her school at all and that I would not under any circumstances come up to the school to try to see her or get her because it was not appropriate and it was a learning environment and I did not want to affect that. At no point did I go to Miley's school. Ever. Except for to drop off the things she needed for school. And I left them at the office. She will resent me, but you know what? I don't care. I don't care if she resents me. I care if she goes to prison. I care if she goes down a trail of active addiction. I care if she ruins her life. I don't care if she resents me. I don't need her to like me. My job as her mother is to protect her. She is going to school, but she's frequently absent. So the first 2 weeks that she was there, she missed 8 days. And they ended up pulling her from her school and moving her schools. And then there was several days missed there. And then she missed all last week. She missed Monday. On Monday, they told the school she had the flu. On Wednesday, they said that she had the stomach virus. On Friday, they said that she had a UTI, which I would never have said, but Hayden, the stepmother, put it on Facebook. So everybody already knows, because I wouldn't tell everybody that my kid has a UTI because that's just showing that you can't tell her how to properly take care of herself and you can't help take care of her. And that's why she's so sick all the time. When people are lying milk to the left, you don't even know if my phone's on mirror or not. How would you know? Yes, and that's the thing. You know who the people who have been most supportive in this are people who have had teenagers or who do have teenagers and understand what we're going through. You're right. I'm her mother. I'm not her friend. And they're like, oh, she's going to resent you. I don't care. My job's to get her to 18 healthy and safe with accountability and knowledge on how to protect herself and live in the world. That is my job. You have 3? I'm so sorry. She will realize it later on, but guess what? She's not going to like me right now, but that's okay. That's okay. Because I don't care if she likes me. I love her. I'm going to protect her. You know what? She's going to resent me right now because I'm fighting for her. She would resent me later in life if I did not fight her. If I did not push to have her, if I did not work on getting her back in the best circumstances, because I do not feel like they were equipped to handle her. They don't know her. Literally. And you know what? I'm so annoyed because they've been showing all these text messages and it's really annoying because they just want to act like I don't have any text messages. I have plenty of text messages. Let's look at the text messages that Miley sent me on this most recent Thanksgiving. Miley went over there and she texts me, he won't even look at me. She's referring to her dad. And because on the way over there, she had said, I really want, oh yeah, it's charged, sorry. She said, I want to know because she had been calling and texting her dad and he would not answer. And she said, I want to know if he got a new phone or if he changed his phone number. Why is it not charging? It's still dead. Hold on. Something wrong here? Okay, it's charging now. Give it a minute. Anyway, I told her, I said, just ask him. He is your dad. Just ask him, did you change your number or why will you not respond to me? So I said, ask him call him Jamie. Because she said, I'm not going to call him Dad. I said, call him Jamie. She said, I can't. He won't look at me. He won't speak to me. And he is sitting there eating pie. I said, just say, Jamie, did you change your number? She said, he left. He legit got up and walked out. I said, did you talk to him? She said, no. And then I asked her about the present she wanted because I was Black Friday shopping.
Do I need to kick your ass? Because your dog just ate one of my chickens.
No.
Yes. She just ate one of my chickens.
Is it alive?
He's struggling.
Oh my gosh, are you serious right now?
Yes, I'm dead serious. The chicken is struggling.
Is it one of the hens or roosters?
It's a hen. I put it in a box.
Will you bring it inside?
Yes.
I'll take care of it after the live.
I know. Let me kick your ass.
Get out. Anyway, Miley says, I can't do this anymore. I'm about to leave. And I said, just tell me what you want. This is my child trying to talk to her father, who has never had any contact with her. Wouldn't even bother to wish her a happy birthday. When I asked her why they wouldn't send her a happy birthday message, I was told that he texted the wrong number. She's had the same number since she got a phone. She's never changed numbers. Why did she move in with him? Because she got in trouble. She got caught vaping. She got suspended from school. She got caught sleeping with Chad's son. She was in trouble. She was in huge trouble. She was in massive trouble. And yes, she had an option to earn her phone back of doing 150 hours of military service in a 6-month period. That's about 3 to 4 hours a week. And on days that she either had a game or was too tired or it was too hot or it was raining, she had to journal. Yes, I want Chad's son home. I want them both back where they need to be because I'm incredibly worried about them. But here's the thing. I asked her, why do you not like Chad? And she says, I don't like his rules. If she says, I don't like Chad because he made me feel uncomfortable, that would have been different. She doesn't like Chad because she does not like following the rules. Oh, look, the phone's coming on now. And you know what? Most teenagers are not going to like following the rules. However, most teenagers are not given a place to run to. Most teenagers are not allowed to jump up and run somewhere else to get out of being punished, to get out of being grounded. She went over there with the understanding that she was still to be grounded. Remember, the kid got suspended the day before. She was supposed to be grounded, not allowed to have a phone, not allowed to go anywhere. Those were the agreements. They broke those. They gave her her phone back and she left, crossed state line with Boston, who's an unlicensed driver, and went and had sex at his mother's house. And then he told people about it, who sent me screenshots. So I have screenshots of it. Hold on. I have 1%. I don't know how iPhones work. Do they stay on? Let me find Miley's text messages. This is Bo's phone. See, I would think that's why I didn't tell anybody. So Miley's been gone for months and I never said anything, right? Because I don't want her public information out of there. But then they went and sold the story to the highest bidder online and took it to the reporters and told the reporters that I had lost her to CPS. Now that narrative doesn't work. They said, oh, no, well, she didn't lose her to CPS. CPS didn't remove her, but she paid CPS off. How do you search iPhone messages? Can you not search the message? Is there a way to search messages? Because in my phone, I can search messages. I don't see a search place. No, of course she doesn't want to be with me. I have rules. I have requirements. I require her to go to bed at a decent time. I require her to put her phone downstairs when she goes to sleep. I require her to, not vape. How do I do this? Is there no way to search on iPhones? Type it in the search bar. What search bar? Oh, just kidding. Okay, so everybody's saying, why was Chad cussing at Miley? That's because Miley got caught sending this message to Bo. She says, no, like actually, I'm so tired of cleaning that fuck ass kitchen. I'm about to lose my shit. He didn't even tell me to clean the damn kitchen. He asked if it was good. So for the next month, we all referred to, well, no, because she posted her message. I'm sorry, her stepmother posted her messages, sent her messages to a reporter. And so that's why we're dealing with all this, because nobody knew about it, because I didn't say anything to anybody. She is a normal teenager doing normal teenage things. It is a normal teen. It is absolutely a normal teen thing. Absolutely. That's why we picked at her. Did she get in trouble? Absolutely. Why was she suspended? She was caught vaping on school property. We do have a court date set. Hang on, I gotta do the little puzzle piece thing. Ugh. Well, see, here's the thing. Miley wanted to move into Chad's home far sooner than I was comfortable with us doing, because she wanted to move to a different school district. Let me see. Let me find my kids' messages. See, on my phone, you can go to the messages, and then you can actually go into this part and search the messages. That's why everybody should not want an iPhone. Let's see. Hang on, I gotta go back, because I said this word a lot. That's back in August. Ooh. On April 30th, Miley says, can we hurry up and move in with him? I want to go to Wheeler. And I said, well, if you're wanting to do all that, you better impress him. And I was meaning it in a way as in, you better let him know that you're going to follow his rules, that, you know, there's reason. Because I'm going to be honest, teenagers are rough. I don't think I would want to bring another teenager into my home that I didn't know super well, or at all. Teenagers are rough. Teenagers are hard. So yeah, I was telling her, you're going to have to be on your P's and Q's. You're going to have to follow his rules. He has different rules. You have to do more at his house. His house is bigger. He has a farm. There is more that will be expected out of you there. Oh, okay, you're going to tell me how I meant it. Yes, that makes sense. Chad's son went to live with his mother. No, Chad has not spoken to Bo since he went back. See, CPS came and they asked Chad to do a safety plan too, but he said no, just let him go. Because that is he had adopted Boston when Danielle kicked Boston out when he was 14. Boston came and asked Chad if he could live with him, and he said yes. What does that have to do with money? Like, what are you even talking about? Children have to earn respect. Adults are given respect by children. Maybe it's different for how y'all are raised or outside of the South, but in the South, you are expected to give adults respect. Why would Bo get kicked out? I think it was over a soda. I don't know. Boston said, because Danielle and her current boyfriend didn't like Bo, and they were constantly getting into it, and they had gotten into it over a soda. Over how many sodas he was drinking in his house or something like that. I have her blocked. I don't know what her ad is. I'm outing her? No, see, here's the thing. If there would never be any text messages shown had they not posted my text messages with my child out of context by giving them to reporters. They sent our messages to reporters, and said, hey, look, this is what da-da-da-da. And the thing is, they were taken so far out of context, it's not funny. Like, for instance, saying that I was gambling when they were hungry when we were on a vacation that cost $800 a night, and they ran up over $1,000 tab on food and drinks that weekend. I've tried to co-parent with them several times. That's why I talked to them. I talked to them for like 2 hours, and they completely said they backed me up. They understood. Hayden said she had just had that same situation happen with her son, that he had ran off to his dad's for 9 months before he came back, and that she completely understands, supported me. They assured me that they would start using the visitation, because remember, they've had visitation for years and have never used it. And I said I thought it would be really good for Miley if they would use their visitation. And she said that they would. They promised they would start. They were going to see her after church that Sunday, and they were going to start seeing her every single weekend, starting that next weekend. And the next day they called CPS. And I get it. I get it. She is 16 and she's frustrated and she's angry and she feels like my rules are ridiculous. She feels like she should be able to do more at her age. I get that. But I do not get other adults condoning it, because both the children were told if they moved out, they would encourage them and allow them to be together. And they have succeeded. They have done that. Yeah, because I did the same thing when I was a teenager. I went and moved in with my dad because I didn't have any rules over there. And then I got pregnant and I got introduced to things I shouldn't have. And I came back and it changed the trajectory of my entire life. Yeah, I mean, I don't think hard work is abuse. I think hard work is a good learning tool. Yes, they are still together. Can I explain the voicemail from my boyfriend? Yeah, so when Miley jumped up and down and screamed she wanted to go live with her dad, she's been doing this all summer. I reached out to Jamie 4 times over the summer. Chad reached out to him twice and they wouldn't respond. Keep in mind, these people have never had anything to do with Miley, that I had full custody of her the entire time I was in prison, and all they would have had to do to get custody from me is go pick her up. There's no way you can keep full custody of a child while you're in prison unless nobody fights you for it. I gave my mother power of attorney over me when I was in prison. Every 6 months we renewed it. And my mother kept my daughter when I was in prison because they had no interest in her. Yes, Miley's on birth control. It should last till she's 18. Yeah, you know what? And I've never been a perfect parent. I've never pretended to be a perfect parent. I have been very, very, very knowledgeable and outspoken and agreed that I've made tons of mistakes as a parent. And yeah, my mom has been fantastic. And when all this is going on, we talked about her going to my mom's, but they said no. And like I said, she went over there Saturday, Monday or Tuesday. She called and asked my mom for $1,500 cash. My mom told her no, and that's the last time she's heard from her. She won't even speak to my mom. My mom can't get in touch with her. And my mom had nothing to do with any of this. My mom had nothing to do with the punishment. She certainly didn't ever take anything away from her. I mean, I don't really know. I mean, my mom's feelings are hurt big time because she's always been there for Miley. She's always been in Miley's corner, on Miley's side. Thank you, Kat. Military punishments are ridiculous. So here's the thing. When you're raising athletes and kids who say, I want to go and I want to play ball in college, and these same kids come to you and say, I know that I messed up and I know I've lost my phone. How can I earn my phone back? That was a choice. You had a choice to work out and keep your phone, or you could continue to just not have your phone back. An hour a day is not an excessive workout. And I mean, $1,500 cash for what exactly? I would assume would be for her to try to go file for custody, because they did that like a week later. They ended up borrowing the money from his grandmother. Yeah, she is in love with Chad's son. I believe that. And you know what? I get that. I was in love with her father when I was in high school. I thought we were going to be together forever. And I know that she thinks that nobody in the world understands her like her boyfriend. I mean, I get that. I get that she feels that way. These are actually moving a little bit fast. Am I able to sue who doxed me? I have to speak to the attorney next week. So I have gone to the police station and made a police report, and the police are currently investigating. And then the police will take the report I made to investigate, and then they will take that to the judge, the district attorney, and the judge decide if they're going to pursue charges against the 3 people that I made my police complaint on. So that's how that works. Because I know a lot of you aren't like super familiar with the like the criminal justice system. So I said, hey, and so the report is for cyber stalking and threat by doxing. So that's because they posted my full address online. My address was not visible online, and they put it out there with 12 videos basically saying Lindsey's a horrible mom, and it's enticing people in a negative way. So that's where it fell under that cyber stalking / threats of doxing. I don't know how Blaine is. I haven't talked to him in like a really long time. Yeah, so that's how I was able to put the criminal report on them. And so now I have the report, I have the criminal report, that's what I use when we do our civil suits. So we'll sue each one of them individually, and we'll basically claim like in the ways that it affected our lives based off what they did. And then we'll get awarded a monetary value based off that. My mom is heartbroken and frustrated and angry. Yeah, I saw the post Miley made to clear things up too. That's why I came on here, because I just wanted to point out the fact that we have a situation where first their narrative was Lindsey's child was removed by CPS. Lindsey lost her child. CPS removed her from the home. And now that the reality of that's not going to work has set in, because you can get the police, you can get the CPS report, you can subpoena it. And then we have subpoenaed the 3 CPS workers to come to court and speak to the judge in court at the custody hearing. So once they realize, oh shit, this false narrative isn't going to work, we should suddenly come up with a new one. So their new one is Lindsey has paid off CPS. That I have bribed the CPS workers. And all of Miley's messages, all the issues. So here's how it works. And so many people said, oh, well, I read the CPS report that they put out. They didn't put out a CPS report. This is how it works. When you go to the police station, let's say that I went to the police station and I said that Jane Smith punched me in the face at my house at 5 p.m. today. The police will write that down. They'll write down every word I say. Then they'll investigate that. And they'll see that Jane Smith was at her brother's house in Alabama and wasn't even around. And so they will not pursue it. What they did is they went to the police station and they made an accusation. They then took that accusation, which is not public record, which is just one side of their story, and they sold it to the highest bidder or gave it out to their favorite reporter, whichever one it was. They gave all that information to a reporter so that a reporter would start a negative narrative about me. Why they decided to do that, I don't know. Because Miley has been gone for 2 months.
I'm going to bed.
You went to bed?
But because Molly didn't have a father, just let everybody know, the 12 things she wanted out of a father.
Yeah, so I told y'all that the military workouts were not always working out on days that like rained or it was really hot. They had to journal instead of working out. So here's one of Miley's journals. And Chad asked each of the kids to journal and explain, I have a sinus infection, to explain what they expected from Chad in a father. 1, Miley said to show up for me, which Chad did. He was there at her volleyball games. He didn't really love volleyball, but he was there. He was there when she was sick and needed to go to the doctor. He was there when she wanted to buy things. He was there when her tires were bad on her car. He was there when she drove the water pump out on her car. He was there. 2, to care for me. 3, to show up for me. 4, to treat me fairly. 5, to try to understand me. 6, to give me the things that I need. 7, to be respectful towards me. 8, to be supportive of my decisions within reason. 9, to talk things out. 10, to make sure I'm prepared for the future. 11, to be on my side publicly. And 12, to be someone that I can trust. And I can say that Chad genuinely tried to do all of those things. Now, did Chad have a big adjustment because he was going from being a father to a teenage boy to trying to be a stepfather to a teenage girl to fill the father role, because as she told Chad, she had never had a father? I feel like he definitely did the best he could. A random man to yell at my daughter, he only met twice? What are you talking about? No, so Chad adopted Danielle's 3 children a couple years ago. So let me see, when was it? I want to say it was right at 2 years ago. Because 10 days after the adoption went through, she left with her boyfriend and left all 3 of her kids with Chad full time for 4 months. And then she came back and got them. Was I always as strict on Miley? No, I became more strict on Miley when she started making big mistakes. So I became more strict on Miley after I found out that she was vaping and was showing up early stages popcorn lung. Because I didn't even catch her vaping. We took her to the doctor, and the doctor's the one that told me. And so that's how we even figured that out to begin with. So that's when things became a little more serious, because it wasn't even just that. And you know what? They have not publicly released that information, what she did, so I'm not going to. But poor baby. I just could see her like being one of those kids obviously off TikTok with the breathing machines, and yeah, I did want my child to be sweet and be polite and be nice when she was meeting somebody. Yeah, 110%. Why is vaping a big deal, but I buy her liquor? I'm allowed, as her mother in the state of Mississippi, to allow my child to drink, not to excess, but to drink alcohol. That is my choice as her mother in my home. However, I do not promote her to vape because she has early stages popcorn lung, which will ruin her ability to breathe for the rest of her life. That is not true. Do you know that in Mississippi, specifically in Oxford, Mississippi, you can go to a bar and order a drink if you're 18? If you're with your parents? With your parents' decision? Yep, Ole Miss. Like literally you can Google these things, guys. You can't purchase and sell alcohol to a minor. No, but that's why I'm sitting here talking about if you're 18, you can get one from a bar. Y'all aren't listening. Good Lord. I didn't say I took her to a bar to let her drink. I said I let her try a drink with me. I don't think my child's going to destroy her liver by trying a drink. Do you not understand the difference of excess and not excess? Like, do y'all, is that actually confusing? Like, here's the thing. My dad let me try alcohol the first time when I was 15 too. He let me try, when I was 15, he let me try I had a champagne glass and he let me try a white Zinfandel. And that's what it's called. Do I think I went too far with the punishment? No. Taking her phone, making her work for it back by working out, that was her choice. I stopped giving her an allowance and made her work for her allowance instead. She got paid $100 per car that she cleaned at our car lot. And I was just about she cleaned till 9 o'clock at night. I have never been at the car lot till freaking 9 o'clock at night cleaning cars. It's dark at that time of day. You can't even do it. We literally close at 6 o'clock. Lord have mercy. And get paid $100 a car. No, I let her try one time. I let her try a TikTok drink she had seen. And one time I let her try a drink of my screwdriver. Like, this is not a regular occasion. This is when I let her try a sip of something. when she lived with her ex-boyfriend. Oh yeah, love that one too. When she said that I was off living my best life and she was living with her ex-boyfriend, that's when I was working 2 jobs. 2 jobs. That was when I was still working at the rehab nights and I was working with Chad during the day. And I guess Miley saw that as me living the absolute best life because I was working. Because at that time I was still working 52-hour weeks. I think I left the Extra Mile Recovery in, I want to say late May or early June. It was right there in that time frame, and she had her surgery on her throat. I want to say in March. I'll have to look because it was the same date. And then her saying, "Oh, my mom took me up there to get my tonsils done, but then she left in the middle of it." So this is what happened. The only appointment they could get Miley in to get her tonsils removed happened to fall on the same date that I had a speaking engagement, because I spoke at the yearly training for North Mississippi Probation, the federal probation committee. So all probation officers, all federal judges, anybody that works, and then a lot of the bankruptcy people, they all fall into the same category in the same court system. So I had a speaking engagement that I had agreed to do months beforehand. So I took Miley there. She went into surgery. My mother was there the entire time. Her acting like my mother left her there with her boyfriend is ridiculous. Any hospital that did not have a child there, that had a child there, but no adult in attendance, would have absolutely called the law immediately. Immediately. So them saying that my mom left her at the hospital alone, of course, that just tore my mom up because she was just so confused. See, my mom is 74 and she just does not understand why anybody would lie. Like, she just can't comprehend why anybody would lie about anything. I had agreed to the speech engagement months ahead of time. Miley was out of surgery before I left, but she was still in recovery. She was still in the recovery room. How did I let him speak to her crazy? By teasing with her? By joking with her? Chad says he's going to beat people's ass all the time. It's a joke. He literally says it all of the time. Yeah, Chad is the father figure of the house. And here's the thing, as a child, you have to listen to the adult in the situation. Do you think they'll hold your open charges? What open charges? Well, yeah, see, they were laughing at the time, but now that they want the narrative to change, they act like this was something he was saying in some sort of seriousness. I'm on medicine. I'm on amoxicillin or whatever. The doctor gave it to me. They think I have open charges for what? Oh, like the old charges? Oh, no. Those are old. I did use her tweezers to pull maggots out of a goat's foot. They weren't actual tweezers. They were some of the ones that you use to put on fake eyelashes. She had like 3 of them in there, and I did use those. However, here's the brilliant thing. I pay for everything. So I can just buy her more. They're tweezers. They're like $3. So being like, oh my gosh, you used tweezers to pull maggots out of goat's foot. Yes, our goat was sick. Yes, I was taking care of a sick goat. No, I'm not using it again. I've been sober for well over 4 years. Yeah, see, the reason, so they did try to have Chad charged for child abuse. They did do this, but here's the thing. They actually put in their paper that Boston was dropped off with another adult from when Chad had him. And that other adult said Boston had no marks on him, did not have a busted lip, didn't say anything about it. And then he was also with other adults because he went and played a football game. So when they investigated this and talked to all these adults that said, did Boston have marks on his face? Did he have a busted lip? Did he say anything about his dad hitting him? And they all said, nope, no marks. Nope, no busted lip. No, he looked fine. And then you have a situation where CPS is going to listen to several different adults over one child. Yeah. Yeah. So the thing is, like, CPS investigated these things and closed the case. And that's why we are subpoenaing CPS to the custody hearing, because their initial claim was that Miley was removed by CPS. Now they've said, okay, no, she wasn't removed by CPS, but Lindsey probably paid CPS off. How ridiculous. Why did Miley's biological dad not take care of her when I was locked up? That is a great question. The entire time that I was locked up, they did have some involvements for her birthdays. They did buy her birthday cake a couple of times. One year, they paid for her dress for the beauty review. They did have some instances of being around her. No visitation, though. They didn't use any of that. Keep in mind, she went to the same school as Hayden's son. So they could have just picked her up from school. At any point in time, I had full custody. They could have went and picked her up, and there's nothing in the world I could have done. I was locked up. They never had any interest in her for 16 years. Well, before I left, when Miley was 6, Jamie had a lot to do with her. And I've never claimed against that. He did. We lived all together up until she was 2. He signed over full physical custody of her to me when she was 2 years old. And I kept it until this past September when they started this custody filing. So here's the thing. All this is pretty easy to prove. And that's why they're getting so frustrated. And that's why they're getting so upset. Because I can prove they had no visitation. I have phone records that show they didn't contact her. So in all the time they've had visitation, they used it. One time in 2023 of December, they took her out to lunch at the China Buffet in Corinth. Before that, in 2020, she stayed one night at their house. Before that, in 2017, I think they had her for like 6 or 7 hours in 2017 one time in the summer. I don't think there was anything before that. These things are pretty easy to prove because I have them all documented. When I told her to be a sweet girl because I was trying to get my child to make a good impression, I was trying to tell her to be on her best behavior and manners, say yes or no, sir, and be respectful when you're meeting somebody new. Yes, my daughter's TikTok also says that I paid off CPS. I guess y'all think that you can literally bribe government employees super easy, and it's probably, I'm sure, really, really cheap, right? You believe that CPS was paid off? But keep in mind, at first everybody believed that CPS removed her from the home. And now that that's proven different, now everybody's saying, oh, okay, I changed my mind. I don't believe CPS removed her. Now I believe that you paid CPS off. Really? Okay. Well, there are 3 different CPS workers. I assure you I don't have money to bribe CPS workers. Thanks so much, though. It is a crime. It would be a crime. No, I've not signed over rights to my child. I have told them that if they would meet me, I would sign over rights. And of course, we wouldn't have, but I would have taken her home if they would have messed up and met me. I would have promised them the Hope Diamond if I thought I would have made them come meet me with her. Right now, I've signed over voluntary status quo custody, which means she is in their custody until court. Is that Ray Ray? Did I see Ray Ray? Yeah, I don't care if somebody it's one time or 100 times, but when your child is meeting somebody when Miley's meeting somebody that's going to be important to me, I do want her to be respectful. I do want her to act right. I do want her to be sweet and like a sweet little well-mannered girl. I did want her to do that.